Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 9th of October. Starting off as usual with the FTSE 100, which all but hit the top of that June rising trend channel. The black line there, 95.60.70 is what we were looking for. I think the highest today, 95.77, so that was nice. The next leg up might be a little bit more difficult, as you can see from the chart already today, given that we went into overbought territory. And we've done so 3 times in the recent past. But end of day close above 95.80 could be enough to give us a best case scenario target up to 97.60, which is that red May resistance line projection by the end of next month. On the downside, the key here is probably that we hold above recent support. 94.20 is still a favored area for support to come in if there is a descent for this market. Worst case, 93.50, but obviously given that there's peace in our time in the Middle East, it doesn't feel as though we might or we need to go down that low. The DAX is next, and here you can see that we are inching our way towards the top of that rising trend channel from April. That is a level of 25,800. We're looking at that by the end of next month, by the end of November, and we've got this little bull flag breakout, and I suppose a break to new highs as well. Through 24,600, the more time we spend above that, the greater the chance of a move to 25,800 by the end of next month, or even sooner than that. Worst case here would be a rug pull to the 50-day line at 23,900. The Dow is next, and here the picture is that of consolidation. Sort of the market basically died, but died near the higher levels, which is normally a good sign. We've got the top of the channel there, heading for 47,900 now, looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain on the right side of 46,000, which has been recent support. Worst case is that there's a rug pull down to the 50-day line, 45,400, but ideally we can get away with 46,000 plus. Moving along to the cryptos and looking at Bitcoin at the moment, which is consolidating well above the old 118,000 resistance. We've got support now towards, I suppose, 120. So that is good. New support above old resistance, although we still can't rule out a test of 118. Worst case would be a test of the 50-day line there at 114. But hopefully we stay on the right side of 118, because if we do that, we could head up to the top of the channel there, 133,000 by the end of even by the end of this month. Best case scenario at the moment is up to 150 plus, and that November resistance line projection by the end of next month. Although I suppose really we're looking for that 133 handle in coming weeks. Ethereum is next, and it continues to disappoint. Here you can see that we've had to test and actually fall below the 50-day line, which was something we weren't supposed to do. That was around the 4,400 level. Below that, we still have the chance of a test of the floor of the channel there from back in July at 39.40. Although we're not expecting anything worse than that. You can see that the RSI resistance line there from July was broken, and we've fallen back below it, which is not a good thing to happen. In fact, we're below RSI 50 as well, so that does suggest that we've almost odds on for a test of the 4,000 zone one more time. Onto gold, which is obviously a much better behaved market at the moment, soaring towards our best case scenario target, 41.60, which we were looking for, I suppose, by the end of next month. Now we're looking for that by the end of this month, and the way things are going, by the end of next week, actually. So wonderful rally there. But at least while we're on the right side of 4,000, looking for 41.60. Worst case now is a test of the old price channel top there, 38.60 to 38.90, but hopefully it won't come to that. We just keep on going higher. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with one which I haven't looked up for a bit, which is Alien Metals. And here, finding support at old resistance around the 0.15 level. Above that, looking for a return to the upper 20s, so at 0.26, 0.27, that kind of thing. By the end of next month, the only missing ingredient at the moment is that we would like to see an end of day close back above the 50-day line, 0.18 to just underline that we are back in business on the upside. Interesting setup at Anglesey Mining, which I think we had our fundraise of late, and conditional equity financing, etc., for the company. So at least that's out the way. The current situation is that we've had a gap to the downside and now a gap to the upside. It's a bear trap island reversal. Looking for the shares to gradually creep up to at least the 200-day line area. 0.7 or so by the end of next month. I suppose the stingiest target on the upside would be a rally towards 0.49 and the 50-day line before the shares came back down again. But we have moved and bounced off quite well off the low, so maybe 0.7, not as ridiculous as it may seem, or ambitious as it may seem. Moving on to the situation at Challenger, and here you can see that we've broken our initial target there at 13 pence above that. Looking with the upper parallel of that rising trend channel up to the 18 pence level over, hopefully by the end of this month, while we remain above the gap floor there at around 11.5, so above 11.5. Looking for further upside then. It's a strong looking chart anyway at the moment. Chesterfield pleased the market with the funding news, and also pleased myself with the shares hitting that target there just shy of 1.2 pence. You can see that that was the target for the shares, the main target from the shares derived from that 2023 resistance line projection. Next level up, hopefully the line that I'm drawing at the moment, which I will cut the color of, but that's 1.75 pence. And looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above recent broken resistance around 0.95 pence. Defence Holdings has had one or two sort of volatile moments in the recent past, but it does still seem to be in that rising trend channel there from the end of August. You could argue that the floor of the channel maybe is a bit wider than that, but I'm going for the narrower interpretation, so above 3 pence. Looking for up to 5 pence on this by the end of next month again. You could also argue that the upside there is actually rather more than 5 pence, and maybe I'll stick with that while we're above 3, looking for 5 pence plus on Defence Holdings. Also had an RSI 50 rebound, in fact, an RSI uptrend rebound, two of them in the recent past, so that is looking healthy. Also looking healthy is Gear for Music, where I could argue, or it could be argued, that the shares are rising, or couldn't rise any faster or quicker than they are at the moment. Here you can see the rising trend channel heading for £3.80. We've had an unfull gap to the upside, found support in that gap, so that tends to be a strong signal. And RSI's bounced through 50 as well. So current situation is that we're looking for further significant gains for the shares, especially given the way that if you look closely, you can see that the shares have actually bounced above a rising 50-day line, which tends to be a very good continuation signal on the upside for a stock or a market. Next on the list is Gem Resources, which has rehabilitated itself via the direct funding, etc. Here you can see that we're closely approaching the top of the broadening triangle there at 0.78. Above that, looking for 1.4 pence as soon as the end of next month, while we remain on the right side of recent broken resistance at around the 0.58 level. Landore is next, and here see that we've hit the initial target there around 5 pence, above 5 pence, looking for the upper parallel of that broadening triangle or that resistance line there as high as 9 pence by the end of, in fact, as high as 7 pence, sorry, by the end of next month. That would be a bit too much, I think, 9 pence, but upside valid here while we're above that 4 pence support zone. Interesting to see the next stock on the front foot at the moment. It is London BTC, and here you can see that we've had 2 days nicely above the 50-day line, which is now rising. That means that we're looking for 9.5 pence by the end of next month, or even sooner than that, while we're above that 50-day moving average, around 5.4 pence. Rising trend channel base is what we're looking at there. Moving along to the situation at Mosman, and here we've got a sort of slightly messy situation going on, but we have bounced on a rising 50-day line. And if you look closely, you can probably see that the 200-day line is starting to rise as well. So that does hint that we got a potential golden cross run up here. A retest of 0.07, obviously a long way away at the moment, but let's see if we can get through the 0.04 pence level in coming days to then confirm that there is a base in place for this stock. Finishing off with Petro, which had a decent update today, and here you can see that we've had bear trap island reversal, so gapping down to new lows and then gapping up today very nicely, actually. And you can see there was some keen interest in accumulation in recent days. In fact, it's a double bear trap island reversal because we gapped down a few days ago, at the end of last month, and have gapped up now. So that does suggest the bears have been caught off guard. Minimum initial target there, 1.3 pence, but really looking for the shares to get to 2.2 and post-March resistance by the end of next month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.